I must admit, the last couple of weeks I've really enjoyed, particularly with the progress made out on the allotment regarding planting out. It did mean some early starts, but I was out on there on my own, good weather, birds singing, it was priceless. The only other big job left now to do is to install the self-watering systems. In here we're going to have the self-wicking system to contain the chilies and the capsicums. And out in the allotment, we've got the Autopot systems with the tomatoes, cucumbers, aubergines, and some melons. I'm going to be starting off in here first. And first of all, I've got to decommission these Vitopods. Doesn't take much doing. Fortunately, these sides unbolt and pack quite flat. And I'll just store them in the loft, so that ain't going to take long. On about the Vitopods, these have, I think it's my 6th or 7th year of using these, and they're not the cheapest of things, but I think they pay for themselves eventually. I mean, I've got more than my use out of them, and them still performing, you know, impeccable. The thermostat's quite accurate in it. So I'm going to say take these out, break them down, probably store them outside for a bit. Then I can see about getting my trays in, but I'll bring you along as we progress. I've got the plastic covers off. I've just stuck them in here for the time being. They'll get dismantled as and when. I think we've got a bit of rain forecast this afternoon, so I might come in here and just break them down. I've also started clearing out the plants in the greenhouse. These are some of my carnivorous plants I've got there. I've got a couple in the house as well. And these are my some of my cactus as well. Not sure if I mentioned this when I did the original video build of the wicking system, but down the centre I've got these little packers with supports and obviously house bricks and a bit of packing underneath, just get them to the same height. And what that does, when you got the pots in, it does actually cause the top plate to sink a little bit, so that gives it the extra support. Trays are in position now, topped up with water. Unfortunately I've had to use tap water. Ideally I'd like to use rainwater, but just haven't got enough. I'm not going to be putting the plants in here for a while, so leave it like this and hopefully some of the nasties have time to evaporate. We had a really heavy downpour last night. It must have lasted 5 or 6 hours. A lot of the gravel trays I've got are flooded with water, but the plants are okay, so no worries. You saw probably in the earlier clip or maybe a previous video that the wicking system for in the greenhouse in the garden has already been set up with the tank. I did put rainwater in and said I'd leave it for a day or so to get all the nasties to evaporate off. Well, that's done, hopefully. All I've got to do now is get the pots ready, which are the wicking pots. And with all good intention, last year, there's 16 pots in there, by the way. Last year I thought, put them in the greenhouse, let them dry out and clear them out. Well, that never come to fruition, did it? So the first job this morning is to clear 16 pots of these out. The wicking looks as though it's in still good condition, so that'll be reusable. Regarding the soil, I've got a big bay off a wheelbarrow, like an industrial type wheelbarrow over there, and all I'm going to do is dump the compost out. I mean, this is coming out quite easily. And I'll keep that covered, and what I'll do, I'll run that through the hurdy-gurdy at some later time when I've got a bit more spare time. But the priority for today is to get all this compost out, get the new compost in, and put the chilies and the capsicums back into the system. Right, we've on to the potting on stage already. These had a good soaking last night. I left them out and they got wet, but not to worry. As usual, I'll give the roots a dusting with mycorrhizal. And I've pulled the wicks right the way up so that goes each side of the plant, and I'll just then top the soil up out of the bucket. And then we can see that there. That's a grid reference I used when I was actually putting them out into the trainers. So I've already got a matrix on a bit of paper, and that there refers to the type of chili, type of capsicum, whatever. And so no need to label them. I did use one of these thermal printers which works off your phone, it's only a short thing, but within about 2 or 3 months in the greenhouse the ink fades and you can't see it, so it's not bothered. Still can't beat these insulation tape with marker pen on. Right, first one done, 15 left. I'll bring you back when I've finished. There we have 16 of the best. I've still got probably about 6 or 8 left, and I might put them into the allotment greenhouse. I'll see what goes. Anyway, these are all in position now. The wickings set up, tanks are full, them on their own. Well, we're almost done with the planting out. There's one big job left, and that's the pots in the allotment greenhouse, the self-watering system, the QuadGrow, the AUTOPOT, and my self-wickings. Originally I was going to do all Autopots, but there's been a bit of a, not a setback, but I'll show you what it is a bit later on, which means I'm going to revert back to the original pots that I was using last year, and maybe we can do a clean sweep for next season. Anyway, I'll take you down and have a look. I did spend some of yesterday washing the pots out, but I didn't bother filming that because everybody has to do that sometime or other. While I was cleaning the greenhouse out yesterday, looking at this, where the QuadGrow is here, I didn't realise, but the greenhouse is actually up on some scaffold boards on edge as a plinth, rather than having a proper greenhouse base. And the wood's rotted really bad. There's a massive hole in that corner there, and the soil's not very stable. And you need that for the Autopots because the works on a valve system. So I've just put a breeze block underneath and put the QuadGrow back, and that seems to be okay at the moment. So that's really, I need to replace the base here, and I'll probably use breeze blocks eventually. But as you can see, all this has been cleaned out. It's ready to take the pots. So I'm going to start planting. There is another job I can do while I'm potting up, and that's to start filling the water tanks up, and that'll give the nasties chance to evaporate a little bit. I knew the good news wouldn't last for long. You can see evidence here of the mole. He's travelling his way through the tomato bed. There's a couple of little humps in the onions, and he's also gone across to the brassicas as well. And if you'll see that through the net. So hopefully that's not going to cause too much damage, but who knows, we'll see. The first plantings for the allotment greenhouse are going to be the melons. I'm going to pick 4 out of these. There's 3 different varieties, just looking on the chart here. I've got 28 here, 29 Blenheim Orange, and 30 is Malaga. I grew Malaga last year and had 2 decent sized fruits. I thought the one got wedged behind the mesh and actually smashed the glass in the greenhouse. But so I'm going to say at least 4. If I've got any space, I'd like to put another one in, but it's a new thing for me, growing melons. With the wicking system, this sits in an aperture on the top tray, and that actually is round about the water level, although you got the wick which pulls the water up. Now if you just fill this full of compost, this would actually be sitting in water, probably the first inch or so. And you don't know, because the water just wicks right up the compost, and this would be sodden all the time. So what we do, use these things inside called expanded clay pebbles. You can see them there. And put about 2 or 3 inches in the bottom, and then the soil goes on top of that. And these are moist all the time with the water, but it doesn't actually put excess water into the compost. And the majority of the moisture comes up through the wick, and that then the plants are not waterlogged. All the glorious sunshine we've recently had together with the rain, the plants have been lapping it up, but I think it has taken its toll on some of them at least. Looking in the brassica cage now, the Calabrese, the Iron Man, quite a lot of them have actually bolted and gone to seed. Fortunately, I did have the hindsight to put a few seeds in the pot. I've probably got about another 4 or 5 plants, so I can rip these out and put some new ones in. Be a bit late, but not to worry. Looking along the back, the Brussels sprouts are doing okay, the roundhead cabbage, but the cauliflowers here seem to be struggling a little bit. And also, whatever's left in here, it's a swede. I've got a couple of rows of swede in, and also some kohlrabi along the end. I have been plagued this year, as you can probably see here, with this mare's tail. It is a right pain, and I'm just pulling it out at the moment. I'm just going to have a session doing it now, but come the end of the season, I think I'm going to spray it. And I know people have different opinions on using the sprays and that, but it's the only way I can control it. You can't. You actually slow it down. I've got it down up by the greenhouse there. I did spray that earlier in the year, and there's hardly been any reshows. So for the time being, I'm going to pull this out the best I can. And the other thing is, we've got the mole. He's blooming wrecking havoc. He's pushed a few onions up already. And I'll just bring you around this side. Don't know if you can see it. The only bit I've had to replant one of them there. But again, he's causing havoc on a lot of plots. The moles, or the moles, I should say. There's a big family of them around here. But say, looking at the brassica bed, I'm going to get to work on that now. Get a mare's tail pulled up. So it's hard to get the root out. It goes down miles and just snap it off, but it does weaken the plant. Right, I'm going to do that. Bring you back a bit later. The brassicas that I was on about, the Calabrese, that I'd done an extra few sowings, there they are. I've just potted them on to put a bit more size into these deep root cell trainers. I'm going to pop them under a net on the outside of the allotment there and just let them fend for themselves, and hopefully they'll put a bit of size on soon and we can plant them out into the main bed. Sometimes a balanced harvest, you can't beat. There's not a lot to this. This is an all year round cauliflower. I was given the plant by another plot holder and I was struggling for space to put it in. So I just popped it into a 30-litre bucket and more or less forgot about it. Just had a look and surprised, it's got a nice little curd on. So I'm going to take that as part of our lunch for today. All year round cauliflower, recommended. I think the time has arrived now to have a look at thinning these tanks out, parsnips and carrots. Carrots have grown quite thick, and I prefer to let them grow to this stage. In the past, I've thinned them out when they're much smaller, and something happens, or they get smashed with rain or damp off or something like that, and they end up having 1 or 2 stations which are empty. So by leaving them to get to this more mature stage, as we'll call it, the success rate is better, and hopefully these will see themselves out up until harvest time. Did have a couple of stations at the beginning where they failed to germinate. I've resown them, and it looks as though them starting to poke their heads up. So hopefully we should get a full tank here. Right, I'm going to thin these out. I'll bring you back when I'm done. There we are, all done. I must say the parsnip tank was much easier to do than the carrot. You might notice on some of these stations that the parsnip is not in the centre of the collar. That's no problem. It's quite easy to focus on the plant in the middle and just cut the rest away. However, that might not be the strongest one. These collars, to be fair, will only be on about another 2 weeks, then I'll be taking them off. Originally the collars was done for when I was growing in the ground. You'll see, if you look at me how to grow parsnips video, put a link up in the top. And that was there. 2 things. First of all, it would concentrate all the seeds in an area, which would give a little bit better germination. And also it gave a bit of protection when you're running the hoe through the gaps and to do the weeding. However, for the tank, because it's so small, I've used my faithful onion now, and that has worked wonders. So that's the parsnips done. Moving over to the carrots. I've thinned these out, and surprisingly there's only 1 fatality. A bit of complacency on my behalf. Towards the end I was actually going a bit faster than my ability and chopped the complete lot off out the one station, but there's plenty of others to go to last us throughout the season. Probably notice on here the soil's cracked, even though we've had quite a lot of rain on here. It is dry, so what I'm going to do is put the hose pipe on with a very fine mist and just let that soak in. And then of course I'll get the Enviromesh, insect type mesh, over the top of these. The other thing is with carrots and all, when you cut the foliage, it does give off a scent which can attract the carrot root fly. So safety's precaution, get the net on as soon as you can. Right, I'm going to get the watering done on these now. You might think we're in a bit of a time warp after the previous video, but not long after I filmed those last few clips there, here in the UK we went through a little heat wave. Well, it's still going on at the moment. Alone in here yesterday in this greenhouse with the window wide open like this and the door open there, the temperature in here touched 42.5 centigrade, which is really hot. I was up this morning just after 4:30 to water the allotment because I noticed the plants there and flagging. It has been extremely hot, difficult to sleep, because in here in the UK we've not actually geared up for this sort of temperatures. Anyway, what I've made this little clip about is that how well the auto self-watering systems have done. Although it's been really hot, I've made sure the containers are filled up. Come and check, and the plants looked as good as they did on normal temperatures. I'm convinced with this current setup I've got in here, the watering will look after itself for at least 2 weeks, apart from feeding, that is. I mean, you can put food inside the tanks and let that wick through, but I prefer to water straight on top of the soil and that sink down to the roots. But regarding hydration, the plants more or less than perfect, and I'm very, very happy with it. We've had 2 days of really hot weather and I've checked the water levels and it's not really gone down that much, as I said, so I think this would last at least 2 weeks. Quite often asked which is the best system I've got. I mean, the system I built is more or less based on the QuadGrow system, where it has a wicking mat, capillary mat, and it sucks the water up from the tap, from the reservoir, sorry. And then I've got the Autopots. Choosing between the two, I'd go for the Autopots because although they both work, the wicking system has got a constant supply of water to the plant. It's never ever has a rest, whereas by the Autopot system it works on the flood and drain system with 2 valves, whereby a chamber fills up with water, the plant takes it up, and it actually, the valve closes and the water level drops to nothing, and then all of a sudden the valve releases and fills up, so the plant actually does have a rest from being continuously supplied with water. And for me personally, I think that's a better system, but it's horses for courses, choose what you like. Anyway, I thought I'd let you know the sort of thing we've come up to and how well the self-watering systems have performed. Right, back to the final clip. So with the second and final row of peas out, that's about it for me for planting out. The only other thing I really got to put out is the leeks, but I think last year they put them out till the end of June, maybe July, and by doing it that late you tend to miss the second batch of allium leaf miner. Well, that's my theory anyway. As I said, that's all my planting out now done. As most of you know, gardening's a circle throughout a 12-month period, and when you're producing videos it is difficult to provide content which is of interest to people what watch the channel regular. So I don't know when my next video will be. I don't put videos out for the sake of it. I only film anything I think of may be of interest. But I will keep on filming. When I get enough footage together I think may be of interest to you, I'll put a film up again. So in the meantime, many thanks for watching. Thanks for the regular subscribers and comments. And until next time, see you later. Bye for now.